Did you buy or plan to buy sex toys for your prepubescent sons or daughters? Oh, you don't? Why not? Embrace progress, you transphobic bigot! The future belongs to tranny kids! Let's explore. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Freedom Alternative. Every once in a while I get complacent and think to myself that I have actually seen full degeneracy, and there's nothing new that I can see that would surprise me. Of course, that feeling doesn't last for too long, because just when I get complacent enough, I get hit by another piece of news or story that's even more degenerate than what I had seen up to that moment. Well, this is what happened when I got wind of this news.com.au article, which really does take the cake for the most messed up degenerate story that I've seen so far, and most likely the most messed up I'll get to see this year. Let me see if I can keep my cool to read some of it, because the article is very long. So, more than just undies, the smallest details are the most important for parents of transgender kids. Every day, 11-year-old Jake runs to the letterbox to check if the postman has been. For 4 weeks, he's been waiting for a parcel that seems as if it will never come. Of course, these days you can order anything online, but this isn't like any other purchase for his mom, Ellie, has ever made. It appears perhaps that our order has been held up in customs, Ellie said. That's something else that just makes me aware of how weird and how covert this could seem to others. Even though Ellie desperately wants to help her son, she is the first to admit that it has been an emotional and mental challenge to try to imagine what it may be like to need this so much. Jake is a transgender boy who came out nearly a year ago. Translation into English, Jake is a physically healthy but mentally confused girl whose messed up fantasies are now taken as fact by her gullible fool that is her mother. The box from America that Ellie and Jake are expecting contains 2 types of items. One is a so-called stand-to-pee, a silicone device that allows someone with female genitalia to stand up while urinating. Oh, what a nice description. A device that allows someone with female genitalia to stand up while urinating. Is that how we describe women and girls now? Someone with female genitalia? Also, look at this picture and tell me this is not a dildo or the tip of a Sibian. Now, if you don't know what a Sibian is, just Google the term. I'm already unsure if these pics are okay with YouTube anyway, although they should be, since these degenerates sell them to degenerate parents as kids' devices. Okay, let's read further. When Jake goes into a stall to urinate in the boys' toilets at school, Ellie explains that he feels very self-conscious about the fact that he always has to sit down. It was distressing him to point where he wasn't going to the toilet at school, she says. So the solution is to buy your daughter a dildo? For real? But wait, it gets worse. Far worse. The second type of item in the parcel will be a soft, washable packer that gets sewn into underwear to create the outward appearance of male genitalia. It is desperately important for him in order to feel comfortable and pass as a boy all the time, Ellie says. Here's a picture of the packer. Why is this needed? Well, the upstanding degenerate that we should still call mother explains to us. Quote, I was watching him at a gymnastics class and he was being held and guided over the bars. At any of those points, he could reveal that he is not a boy with a penis, she says. Ellie points to the difficulty of female-to-male transgender children participating in sports like ballet, gym, and swimming without a packer in their underwear. Now, I'm sorry, but I have to ask, why the fuck would you look all the time between your daughter's legs whilst she's at the gymnastics class? And even worse, why the fuck would you assume that everyone else was also looking in order to see if your daughter has a penis or not? Am I the only one who thinks this Ellie person is a pedophile? Now, I know that calling someone a pedo is a serious allegation, but I mean it. Really, why else would you look all the time between your kid's legs? Okay, let's try some more. Quote, There's a serious issue behind all of this. It prevents trans kids from participating in a lot of sports, she says. This issue does have a light-hearted side though. Reflecting on her search to find her son appropriate products, Ellie describes her situation as tragicomic. No, it's not tragicomic, it's a pedophilic obsession, that's what it is. I'm an adult, married, heterosexual woman who doesn't have a child with a penis, she says. I don't really know what children's penises look like, and yet I've had really explicit conversations with strangers about children's penises. Fucking what? And the strangers didn't find that odd? Really? I mean, how would you react if someone were to randomly ask you, hey, please, can you tell me how your little son's dick looks like? I need to know for research purposes. I know that if I were to ask such a question, I would reasonably expect at least a punch in the face. And for bloody good reason. Normal people don't have an obsession with children's genitalia. Okay, let's read some more. Jake's problem gradually arose after he socially transitioned into a boy. Ellie became aware that he was packing socks into his underwear. They were moving around, they were chaffing, they were too big a lot of the time. He asked me repeatedly to do something about it and I didn't know what to do about it at all. I had no idea, she says. The problem I hit almost immediately is that you can't get anything realistic in a kid's size in Australia at all, Ellie continues. Maybe because what you demand is degenerate? The company Ellie and Jake ended up purchasing from is Transware, based in San Francisco, California. Of course it had to be in San Francisco. Where else? It stocks underpants, packers, and stand-to-pees for female-to-male transgender children aged 3 upwards. Aged 3? Jesus Christ. The business owner, Dan Kirkwood Tucker, explains via email that he operates a community-based shop and works carefully with each family to take into account the child's age and where they are in their transition. Mr. Kirkwood Tucker specializes in custom orders and has consistently refused offers to sell my design and products to the adult industry. These products are key for trans kids and adults to help them move forward in their gender transition and are not sex-related items, he writes. What do you mean they're not sex-related items? Of course they are. They look like a dildo and they are meant to imitate the male sex. Transware has expanded the kids' line in the last year because of a growing demand from Australia and New Zealand, who are the largest international customer base, Mr. Kirkwood Tucker says. So Ellie is not the only degenerate parent after all. The parents of male-to-female transgender children face a different set of challenges in respect of their children's underwear. Karen, mom of 6-year-old Lottie, says she noticed her daughter's undies were suddenly too tight after a growth spurt. Lottie kept grabbing her genitalia and confessed she was uncomfortable. Girls' underpants are not really designed for boys or a boy's anatomy. Gee, you think? Who would have thought that girls' underpants are designed for, well, girls? I guess that's oppressive. I bought the plainest boys' undies in white and black and probably gray, I think, and just decorated them, she says. Great, let's pander to the fantasies and confusions of a toddler. What could possibly go wrong? This involves sewing on stretch lace, ironing on love heat patches, and even a few rhinestones here and there. It's not about denying that there's something there or flattening it or pushing it aside or away, but about just accepting that we have to dress to what we have, Karen says. We don't always have the features or the body that we want, but we can still feel beautiful. Yeah, but first you must accept your body. Jesus Christ. Some transgender girls prefer clothing that disguises their genitalia. Seamstress Chris McCavely owns an Etsy store called Leo Lines. She started making items for transgender girls 4 years ago when a mother asked if it was possible to modify a bathing suit for her male-to-female daughter. Since then, Miss McKelvey has made more than 1,000 pieces of clothing for transgender children, including underpants and various types of active wear. About 80% of my business is transgender, both male-to-female and female-to-male, and of that, 50% is children. 50% is children. Jesus Christ. Am I the only one who thinks this is absolutely insane? Come on, I can't be the only one who thinks that buying dildos for prepubescent children and making an obsession to looking between your daughter's legs during gym classes is morally reprehensible. Come on, some of these kids for whom dildos are being bought are 4 or 6-year-old. Also, here's something interesting. This company that sells dildos for children is located in the United States of America. That is the same country where a 17-year-old boy may go to jail for a nude picture of himself when he was 16. It's also the same country where, under the Protect Act, a man named Christopher Handley was imprisoned for possessing erotic cartoons that seemed to look like obscene images depicting a minor. Mind you, no actual human beings were hurt, and the defendant bought them perfectly legal from the market. But that didn't matter. Yet for some reason, things that are actually harmful to actual children can remain freely on the market. Way to go, USA! Seriously, how hard can it be? If your kid has a penis, he's a boy. If not, he's a girl. Yes, I know hermaphrodite children exist, but in those rare cases, there are also solutions that don't involve dildos, pedo obsession, and talks with strangers about kids' penises. I know that all the precious little snowflakes out there will call me transphobic, or an enabler of heteronormativity, or whatever claptrap is fashionable today as a slur for common sense, but you know the drill. I don't care. What I do care, though, is the physical and mental integrity of children. And no, buying them dildos and enabling their confusions is not protecting their mental integrity. On the contrary. Also, let's be crystal clear on this one. The parents are not there to be the friends of the child. The parents are there to be the authority over the child. That means that the authority needs to be established and exerted from time to time. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm the first to rally against helicopter parents who clearly do more harm than good to their children, but indulging the children's most dubious fantasies? That's not parenting. That's you being the slave of your child. It's the opposite of parenting. Giving your kids whatever they want simply because they asked for it is not love. It's laziness and guaranteed to make them unhappy in the long run. When your preteen daughter starts hiding socks in her panties, you take them off. If she continues, you take her to a psychologist and then to a psychiatrist, and you try to curb the perverse and deviant behavior. That's what a sane parent does. An insane parent buys her daughter a dildo. That's all I have to say. Jesus Christ. Thanks for watching. Oh, and P.S. No, I won't apologize for calling these parents degenerates. You should call them that way too, and you shouldn't apologize either.